Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about a potential Arctic blast to close out the month of October and to start the new month of November. Now, for the first time in a long time, this might be a very long-lived Arctic blast as well, so be sure to stay tuned for the end of it to see really how long this Arctic blast could last. Now, before we get started with things, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, how potent do you think this cooldown really will be in your opinion? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's get straight into this video, and first things first, we're just taking a look at last night. And as you can see, we had a bit of a cooldown moving in through the north central United States, a bit of a warm up out west, and for the East Coast and for the Gulf Coast. Most of that cold, as you can see, is centered over the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and a bit of the plains as well. Now, by the time we reach this afternoon, you can see that this one pushes a little bit further east. Still, the East Coast is warmer than normal. The Rockies, the plains, we see a bit of colder than normal conditions as well there for Oregon and California. A negative PNA setting back up, which usually means warm temperatures are on the way for the eastern United States. We will see if that actually is true in this case, but it almost always is. And by the time we reach 2 p.m. here on Saturday, October 23rd, you can see that negative, better yet, PNA out west is gaining momentum here in Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, California, Arizona. All these areas are cooling down, and we can see that the cool down out east is really dying out, and we see warm temperatures really prevailing. And even just one day later on Sunday, you can see that this pattern is really setting in. By the way, we might have a severe weather outbreak on Sunday. I do not know my schedule for Sunday yet, but I am going to try to go live. It's a possibility that I will be able to, but there is a very serious chance of a tornado outbreak on Sunday, in my opinion, with this temperature pattern setup. This is never a good look. You can see those really strong above normal temperatures and those very strong below normal temperatures for Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, and South Dakota there. When you see that cold air, very potent cold air wrapping around to the west of a very warm air mass, that's usually not a good sign, especially that close together. Could be some very serious instability set up over those regions. Now, by the time we reach 2 p.m. on Monday, and that's going to be October 25th, you can see that we still have that negative PNA in place out west, obviously, which again, Pacific North American Oscillation. I have people asking me all the time. It's as simple as cold temperature setup over the western regions of North America equals a negative PNA. And what that causes is warmer temperatures to usually prevail further east than that very western point. In a positive PNA, it's the opposite. Warmer temperatures out west, and then colder temperatures have a good chance of prevailing east of that point. So it's a very simple oscillation. We see cold temperatures set up over the Midwest and over the New England region of the United States. This is not going to be very potent or widespread because, again, we have that negative PNA set up and it doesn't allow for a massive cool down over those regions. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards Tuesday, October 26th, and then we're going to jump towards Friday, October 29th, and go beyond that and see this massive Arctic blast move in. All right, now here we are taking a look, and this is going to be Tuesday afternoon on October 26th, and as you can see, again, that negative PNA still in place. It's going to kind of be there for a while. We see the northeastern United States is dealing with far below normal temperatures setting up by this point later in October, but again, it's not going to be a very large cool down or a very widespread one whatsoever because we don't have the supporting teleconnections in place. We don't have that positive PNA. If we had a positive PNA in this pattern, you would look for the entire eastern half of the country to be below normal temperatures. That's how much of a difference that would make. Now, by the time we reach Friday afternoon, again, we take a big jump here, October 29th, we can see that negative PNA coming to an end, actually. We see warmer temperatures moving in to the southwest. We still have colder than normal conditions for the northwest. This usually indicates that we're in a neutral PNA by this point. There is some warm and there is some cool, and that allows for kind of a equal chance out east. And we do see a bit of a cool down moving in for the 29th on Friday for the eastern half of the country. The plains are very warm by this point. And by the time we reach Saturday, October 30th, you can see that it's moving even further north, that positive PNA out west, and it's really trying to build in. We do see some colder temperatures in the east, but not much. But by the time we reach Sunday, October 31st, you can see we get a little bit more of a widespread cool down in the east, and that positive PNA is growing even further out west, kind of creating an opposite pattern of what we will be dealing with for kind of like the 24th through the 26th or 7th, I would say. And then we move into a pattern that looks more like this. A cool down is able to make its way in. Then, by the time I reach November 1st, this is really the changing date. I've noticed throughout my, Weather Channel days here on Direct Weather, doing this Weather Channel, um, for some reason, the first of a month is a very big turning point oftentimes in patterns. It's funny how it usually lands on that date, and we see a completely different month than the one before it. It's super interesting how that works, but a very strong positive PNA out west now by this point, really building in rapidly, and a very potent Arctic blast moving in. I'll show you guys actual temperatures in a moment, but it's actually shocking compared to what we've even been dealing with for the past few days. It has been cooler than normal for the past couple days for many regions, but this is going to definitely be much more significant. Now, what we're going to do here in a moment is move on, take a look at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday, and that's going to be November 2nd through 6th, and then we're going to take a look at some actual temperatures and then close out the video. Now again, like what I said in the beginning of the video, this one is really going to be long-lived, especially compared to what we've seen so far this year. Usually the closer to winter you get, the more long-lived these cooldowns can get, and that definitely stands true here because most of our cooldowns that we've had throughout the fall time so far have only lasted 1 to 3 days, I would say. A majority of them, especially if they're a more potent one, it's very short-lived. But this one by Tuesday has not really lost any momentum, and if anything, it's gained momentum by this point. We see those greens indicating 10 to 15 degrees below normal. The blues outside of the greens are indicating 1 to 10 degrees below normal, so still pretty significant, but the greens is especially where I'm watching. And then those purplish shades over the Appalachian Mountains and the Smoky Mountains, that's 15 to 30 degrees below normal, so very significant departure from what is typical. And then by Wednesday, it's kind of the same thing, it's kind of shifted where the coldest temperatures are, but we're still seeing a very significant departure from what is typical. A very strong Arctic blast is still in place. Still by Thursday, November 4th as well, we see those greens becoming more widespread, and even those purples within the greens are also more widespread. So this thing is really not gaining any or losing any momentum. And again, still, if anything, it's gaining momentum. We see that positive PNA is still holding strong out west. What we would be watching for to see an end for this cold pattern is some blues to make their way on the west coast. You would know that by that point, once there's pretty widespread blues out west, that would mean that probably within 1 or 2 days, that Arctic blast out east will be ending, but we don't see that yet. That's the interesting thing. So there's no catalyst for this to really end or stop, and that's why it's just sticking around. And even by Friday, November 5th, you can see the positive PNA is still out west, and we still have a very strong Arctic blast in the east. Those purples are becoming even stronger. Those dark blues within the purples there that you can see for North Carolina and Virginia, that is where we're about 25 to 30 degrees below normal by that point. So a very, very significant departure from what is typical by that point. And then Saturday, November 6th, again, still just very widespread with these greens and blues going on. Just a significant cooldown that this model wants to keep around for a long time. Now, for the actual temperatures, this is high temperatures on Saturday, November 6th. That last frame we just took a look at. Take a look at that widespread 40s, low 40s, and mid to high 30s for the eastern United States. The only areas that are outside of the 40s and 30s are going to be eastern Virginia, eastern North Carolina, eastern South Carolina, eastern Georgia, and then Florida, and a bit of the southern portions of those Gulf states. So basically the coastal regions in the southern United States are going to struggle to get these very cold temperatures just because of those ocean temperatures. In about, 2 to 4 weeks, you will see these water temperatures cool down, and these more coastal regions can also get in on some of these more potent cool downs. But for now, the ocean is a little bit too warm. But yes, shockingly cold. We haven't even seen lows this cool for most of the time here during this cool down that we've been in, and now we're going to see highs in the mid 30s for a lot of these regions in the more bright blue shades. Super, super extreme cooldown, in my opinion. Now, for today's confidence tab, we're actually at a 4 out of 6. The teleconnections do point towards this happening, so I'm about 50 to 60% confident, even though we're more than 7 days out. Uh, really thinking this has a good chance at happening. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys yesterday if you think that November is going to be a colder or a warmer month. And as you guys know by watching this video, it seems like November could get off to a very cold start. So we're leaning towards that. But Eastern Iowa Weather and Toilets said, and I love that name, by the way, if I had to make a bold prediction, I would say November would be colder than normal in the eastern United States and warmer in the western US due to a positive PNA and a negative AO. You guys heard me talking about the PNA. Eastern Iowa Weather and Toilets is also paying attention here, as you can see. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovin Eagle, Lear the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, and Patrick Strickland as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Kudalesa, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Cindy Klein, Alan Goodmaben, Bill Dallas, Gary's, John Colisi, Dwight Phelan, Stephen Kernenthal, and Thomas D. Barr as well. If you'd like to be a part of this very awesome Patreon entry today, you can do so by joining our very amazing Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. I would also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. If you'd like to join this one, it'll be located next to that subscribe button down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I will see you guys in the next video.